Hello there. Karibu to my channel, Architectural Diligence. Today I'm going to share with you 5 investments that you can actually derive from real estate. And this I will do it in a summarized way, so that at least in the future videos I'll be able to delve further, deeply into them. And which are these areas that you can get yourself into real estate? And I look from all the way from the starting point to even people who have actually already doing real estate business in nature. And the first level is basically a homeowner, basically a home ownership level. And here we are looking at you are just from college and you want to get into home ownership, whether buying a piece of land and doing your home, or even buying a ready house. So you can actually either buy a piece of land in the outskirts of town and be able to put a home through the guidelines of an architect and engineer, or you can go to a development that is ready, either developers who are doing apartments or developers who are doing mansionettes, and buy that ready unit. So that's basically the first level where you get yourself into real estate. And this you can do it through your own cash flows, through your own savings, or you can actually also do it through a mortgage. You can actually take a facility in the bank and be able to acquire the piece of land and build, or take a facility from the bank and acquire a ready apartment or a ready standalone house. So that's basically the first level. Then number 2 is now someone who now want to diversify in real estate. And in this level of diversification is when I'm looking at capital gain. You're basically putting money into a piece of land, into an apartment, into a ready house for basic price appreciation, so that at least in future you're able to sell it. And that's what actually we call, in simple terms, you're buying it for speculative purposes. And there's no better way of doing this like doing it outside in town. You can actually now go further out of town. Okay, if like now from Nairobi to the metropolis around 30 kilometers, go further to around 50 kilometers, go further to around 60 kilometers out of town, because in these places or these neighborhoods you go to buy a piece of land at an affordable rate. Okay, then over 2, 4, 5, 10 years, this land would actually appreciate over time. The same case if you're buying an apartment for appreciation. Of course, when you're buying a ready apartment or a ready house, the inverse would be different. Okay, in that now you are buying to a place that people can access, or you can access, so at least the value can actually appreciate higher or faster, so at least over time you can sell it. In fact, the better way to invest into ready houses for resale is doing it off plan. Of course, you must do proper due diligence, the developer doing the off plan development, so that when you buy off plan, you're basically buying a house that is actually at the foundation level, or even they have not started construction, but they're able to demonstrate that they have the capacity to build, the approvals are in place, their financing are in place. And why they're actually selling at off plan is to be able to raise more liquidity, to be able to put up these apartments. So at this level, developers actually would sell you a unit at a subsidized level. So this is the best level actually to buy an apartment that you actually want to resell, maybe after the development is complete, and you now buy people who want ready houses. So basically that's the second level of real estate investment, basically buying it for capital gain, buying it for speculative purposes, and actually buying it to resell. Then the third level is where you actually now invest or put money to be able to generate cash flow. And here now I'm looking at people who would put real estate for rental purposes. And this rental could be short-term, be Airbnbs, or long-term, or people who are taking leases for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Okay. And this can actually also be done at the land level, where you actually buy a piece of land, maybe it will be agricultural land, and lease to people who actually want to do agriculture. Or even if it's a plot that you bought within a busy neighborhood, you can actually lease it to people who want to put maybe some temporary structure and be able to lease those structures commercially. The next level of cash flow is basically now where you buy a piece of land, you put a real estate structure, may it be a single dwelling or an apartment, and be able to fetch rent from that development. You buy a plot, put up a maisonette, and lease it to get some rental. The same case to an apartment. So basically, this is someone who is putting in their cash flow, and they're not looking at getting a return immediately. They're looking at getting a return within from seventh year, 8th year, that way. Okay. Then the fourth level of real estate investment is basically someone who don't want to keep these assets for a long time. So basically, I'm looking at someone who buys today and sell tomorrow. Okay. So basically, this is a micro developer. You're basically in the business of circulating your money. Okay. Buy a piece of land, you build, and you sell. Okay. So this is the next level of real estate investment, and you don't have to do 10 units, that units for you to be able to qualify. You can actually start even with 1 unit. Okay, you buy a piece of land in the outskirts of town, you do a house with a budget of around 15 million, and actually you sell at 20 million. And then over time, you grow your portfolio. Then the extreme level of this level of investment are people also who buy houses which are old in nature, houses that have been run down. They buy them, you renovate, you either lease or even actually sell. Okay, so this is actually another level that you actually find in the developed countries, where houses were done 100 years ago, and they're in what we call conservation level of building. So buy an old structure in an auction, renovate, and sell. Okay. Then the last one is what now is emerging in terms of the rates, real estate investments. From a point of an investment, you don't have to own a house, you don't have to own that piece of land, but you can buy stake from that asset. Okay, and locally we've seen Kwetu, we've seen Fahari rates, we have seen rates by Centum, we've seen rates by ELP, and these are people who are listed at NSE, so that you're able to buy an instrument, and at the end of the day you get return on your investment. So this is actually a high level of real estate investments, where now we need to look at and be able to move our money to that level. So dig deeper, know where you want to get into, and there's no starting small. Start small and grow your investment gradually. Okay, even if you're a student, you're just from college, lease a studio somewhere, make it a Airbnb, and start your real estate journey at that level. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching my channel, and I request you take a minute to like my page, do subscribe, so that you're able to make more materials that will be beneficial for the general public. So I'll be able to break down all these levels of real estate investments in details and be able to describe and show how you can go about it. Thank you very much. See you in the next one.